A new theory. Let's explore it.
Question from Dan Coffin. He said, on the topic of the Rumble, both major American companies are mostly creatively bad now, ignoring a handful of people in both companies that still do good, interesting work and have huge guaranteed money. Is this just how wrestling is going to be for like the next 4 years until the rights come up or bid again? Did the pops finally stop?
Is the pops finally stopped?
How everything
The
is going
pops
to
did
be
not stop.
forever. Everything is bad. Just when you come to terms with that, and you'll stop feeling so stressed. Everything's bad.
And
See?
It always will be.
Yes.
It's gonna cycle. It's things always cycle one way or the other, you know, like it'll be bad and then it'll be good for a while. And there's always, I don't know, we're not even the target audience for wrestling. So it's like I always, you know, if I like 60% of what's on the show, like I'm doing great. So
It's true. That's always so shocking for us, yeah.
James?
It's not gonna be trash forever, but it's been bad. And like this is a lot of, I mean, chickens have come on the roofs. Like, you put so much shit in the stream or whatever, as far as saying like, I want, you know, this to be lowest common denominator stuff. Well, here we are. You're with this stuff where it's like, I think most, or you know, I think big picture wise, these companies have their head on straight. But like wrestling is for nerds, adult nerds. Like the people that fly out to these shows are adult nerds that care about the nitty gritty details of these things. And somebody apparently got the Tony Khan and said, stop caring about that stuff, and it's made their show worse, their shows worse. And WWE, they never cared about this kind of stuff, and they only cared about it this much more with Triple H, and they're on fire. As far as commercially, as far as their shows, nah. I feel like they've only had like 2 good pay-per-views last year, in the last like calendar year, or maybe 3. But yeah, so for me, it's like my joy, even though we talk about WWE and AEW more than anything else, like my joy is like watching at this point, like this the reawakening of Stardom over the last 6 months, and New Japan when they had their shit together. And for those that, you know, don't watch Japanese pro wrestling or don't watch international wrestling, and this is what they get their wrestling fandom off of, then like I suggest you start picking and choosing, because like this whole, like, because you need to start finding like the good apples, because this orchard looking real bad right now.
American wrestling is fucked. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think there's enough great stars coming down the pipeline that are going to get the chances due to various levels of politicking and people not cycling out longer because either they have to make more money because they've mismanaged their money. I would encourage you to find a Japanese promotion that you like or a Mexican promotion that you like and start trying to dive in.
Good.
Start trying to dive in. Like I just feel like we're in the middle. It's the middle of the decade blues, as I've called them. Right. Usually, there's a lot of changeover of generations. There's the wrestlers that we love are getting a little bit older. Then the wrestlers behind them are getting a little bit older, but like should be stepping into those spots, but they're not quite. And then the young wrestlers are seemingly just getting frozen. And we're gonna start seeing all these people jump companies back and forth looking for opportunities, but like there's a group of guys, and I don't know exactly the names of every single one of them, but if you're someone that's jumping back and forth like twice and stuff like that, we'll use Andrade for example. Perfect guy. Great wrestler or whatever, right? Good wrestler, can have good matches and stuff like that. But like, are you actually going to get pushed, or are you just a guy on the roster? Like, there's going to be a lot of guys on the roster filling up space, and what's going to happen is like those people are going to stick around for a long time, and then some booker is going to get tricked into pushing one of them, and it's going to be like, oh, they actually didn't have it, or they waited too long to do it, or something like that. And it's a very pessimistic view of the world. If you think that, you should ask me my thoughts on American politics.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to say that about wrestling, to say like, you have all these guys who in the past like would have been moving out of the, main event scene or whatever, and now they aren't. And it's just like, like in every industry now, because we live in an extremely, like super fucked
Right.
capitalist hellscape.
Right.
So it's like that's the problem that everyone is having everywhere is that
Yeah.
you have people now being like, well, I can't retire. I can't / will not retire.
And then
It's
with it
not.
being two companies,
It's a part of that.
with it being two companies, that's going to make all the wrestlers that were too hurt come back and get cleared and then cash in on that star power that they didn't get to do, like your Danielsons,
Yeah.
like your Edges or whatever that were Christian Cage,
Saraya.
these people that were medically disqualified for whatever reason, whether real or fake, and I think a lot of it was fake, honestly, but these people are now taking up spots on both sides.
Yeah, and there's also this part where it's like, you mentioned the like how this like wrestling landscape mirrors like wealth, like the wealth inequality as far as like older people are like hoarding wealth. Like you also have this part where it's like because of medical innovation and like guys that would have been completely done in this business because their hip was too fucked up, they couldn't figure out how to fix themselves, their bodies, they were broken people physically, and they would have been out. Like the era of guys the last 20 years basically post Eddie Guerrero and Benoit that have like they have cleaned up like the drug use or whatever else, like that contributed into us seeing healthier wrestlers, and that's good. It also contributes to guys are going to stay around longer. So therefore, when they stay around longer and they get to a certain level of fame or whatever else, they're not going to walk off into the sunset until their body tells them to. But they keep fixing their bodies in ways that there were no answers for that. Like it's a parallel to what's going on in the NBA, where it's like guys that are in their mid-30s are all-stars that would have been literally on their last legs on their last teams at 35, like 20 years ago. Like James Harden.
Years ago.
Yeah, sure. But it keeps extending, right? Before it was like, oh, Paul Pierce, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Nash. I was like, not Kevin Nash, Steve Nash, different Nash. These guys at 33 would have been done. They were still valuable players into their mid and even late 30s. Like, and that was rarefied air for us in watching basketball 15 or just 10 years ago. Now it's like you have people like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron. LeBron's 40, and he's still one of the 10 best players in 10, 15 best players in basketball. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, they're like 36, both of them. It's 2025. In 2005, they would have been in a booth being like calling the games or whatever else. They've been done. So this is happening, like the medical stuff is holding, and people actually like taking better care of their bodies, like extending this, and therefore like their narrative for the top stars and like the is a zero-sum game for attention, right? Like for top stars in real sports and also in this fake sport, like
it's overexposure.
You can't get these guys out the way to then tell new stories or have new characters.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so true, but it is so funny to be like, the problem is medicine, really. Like, the founding fathers never intended the poor to live into their 40s, you know?
I'm just saying, like, no, obviously the thing is,
I mean,
like,
you're totally right. Like, I agree with your point. It's just like,
I'm not saying medicine. I'm not saying medicine bad. I'm saying medicine.
No, I know you're not.
Good, but this is unintended consequences that we haven't had to grapple with because, like, this is new territory, and we're now like getting to everyone that we're finally recognizing what's going on.
No, it's true. Ed should be on his deathbed in a just world, you know, and industries.
I think we all know that people should be dying at 35, and that's what everyone on this podcast is advocating for.
Yeah, Brewhaven, we need to bring back cocaine and alcoholism back to wrestling, clearly. Trust me, brother, it's never gone anywhere.
Yeah, cocaine. Look, we'll get to this when we talk about Luka Doncic and the trade or whatever else. People talking about, like, him at 25 and his body. Like, look, bro, I don't give a damn about the alcoholism or whatever amount of beer he may or may not be drinking or his body weight or whatever else. Look at what the guys that are a little older than him are. He might be able to play till he's 40. Even with bad habits or whatever else. You talking about, like, we're worried about paying him in the years that should be historically most basketball players' best years. We're worried about giving him the money then. Huh? But anyway, it's just I think that we need to start putting guys out the pasture, being like, hey, you guys, or people need to start recognizing like the ceilings on people, or whether you're not gonna push them and let them go if they're not going to whatever else. Let them find their way. Like
You're
there are
saying
two.
it's good that Tony Khan is killing these old men.
There should be more of
vitally
a
important that he's euthanizing old men as his number one job this year.
But he's not euthanizing them. He's empowering them.
Empowering them to die. I hope eventually.
But that's the thing. We don't, because we're in a new territory as far as people being able to extend this stuff. We don't know how much farther they can go. So you think you're out here sitting here thinking like, oh, okay, he's gonna be around for only one more year. He'll be done. This might be 5 more years. We don't know.
So you're saying, Tony, withhold the stem cell treatments, ply them with alcohol and cocaine. I want you to run their lives into the ground, then kill them so they can never come back.
Make sure those injuries are real. None of this fake stuff.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm saying
perhaps willfully, yeah.
We're in an era where we don't know how long it takes for that stuff to work. So, like, just kill them now. Stop wasting our time. Do it expeditiously so we can move on to the next era.
No treatment. No treatment.
So there's
Tony should start.
No treatment. Pine box. 6 feet under dirt.
So there's a thing about their actual ages, and then there's like their television ages.
No, Rich. Dr. Lariat.
Jeff Jarrett's final talent contract is 5 years.
No.
They need to bring back house shows.
They need to bring back house shows and put some more wear and tear on them tires.
That's the problem. Oh my god, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's not like it is their ages, but it's also their television age. So it's like if you never get out the way, it's like, bro, we're so overexposed to you. Like there's nothing new you're gonna do, Randy Orton. But like Randy Orton's in great physical shape. Why wouldn't you use a Randy Orton? Bobby Lashley. Why wouldn't you use a Bobby Lashley if he looks like that? He wants to work hard and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are all like there's only so much television time, and then there's only so many wrestlers. So like there's gonna be a lost generation coming, like the likes of we've never seen before.
Yes.
I hate to get all grim on y'all, but like this look, I ain't been too impressed. Let's just say that. But
let's just kill. Let's kill.
So
let's just kill.
Tony needs to start making a career path for these guys, and he can tell them he's filming them if they need the ego boost. He's like, here's a job in the Jags, office, and he's like, and it's going to be a reality show. The cameras are on you. We're filming it now. Like, it's going to air. Don't worry. Everyone's going to see you being really cool.
No, if it were a real reality show where they are telling the wrestlers that they are still actively in the promotion, but it's a fake promotion, I would watch it. I would love it. I would love it.
And it's all like, don't tell Jeff Jarrett,
so it's essentially like what you guys are advocating for is like the Real World Road Rules Challenge. It's like you're not on the real world no more, right? But you're on the challenge. Like we're gonna tell you on road rules, essentially. So.
Yeah, put them in a van, film them.
This is all fun and games until you remember there's pro wrestling and everyone talks and no one can keep that secret. So like Tony Khan would immediately get stuffed in the locker the second they find out about this stuff.
What the fuck is this?
They've got to stretch their worker. I mean, I think it's a challenge for the industry. Like, how carny can we be? I think they should take that as a fun thing. Could they carny the carnies?
You sit these younger guys down and you say, like, do you want to make money? Do you want to wrestle on TV and make money? Then you need to realize loose lips sink ships. We are trying to get these guys into a safe enclosure where they can't harm you anymore. They can't take your TV time anymore. Are you going to help us, or are you going to be part of the problem?
Look,
get out of those DMs, guys.
The best workers are working even when you think they're not. So
exactly.
If you could give, we'll sum it up here, Allie, and if you can give me